we have a doctor in the house on Vegas Live with Ninon. It's Dr. Ron Hillock. Hillock is something you hold, isn't it? You can put somebody in a hillock, can't you?
It's a small hillock.
Yeah, hillock. Oh, we've got a hillock. I'm saying hillock, and it's a hillock.
That's all right.
That's all right. I'm going to call him Dr. Ron anyway. As you know, I don't pre-interview any of my guests, so I don't really know anybody. The only thing I do know is that that he is a doctor. And what are you practicing in?
I'm an orthopedic surgeon specializing in
you're a
adult
surgeon.
reconstruction.
Adult reconstruction. Okay, this is really fabulous. Can you reconstruct my brain?
That's a neurosurgeon.
Oh, neurosurgeon. Oh, well, I was just hoping he could do that, but that's okay.
We can work on muscle memory.
Muscle memory? Oh, wait a second. Muscle memory.
That's what practice leads to.
Oh, this is getting technical now, so I'm now going to find out what do you mean this leads to what? So explain me.
No, when you practice a golf swing or a tennis swing, you're
Yes.
developing muscle memory.
Yes, and so this is the same thing, muscle.
Yeah. It's really in your brain, but we refer to it as muscle memory.
Muscle memory. Now, my brother, unfortunately, God rest his soul, just died of what we call it in America, Graves' disease.
It's hard to hear that.
Yeah, because he got it, and he got it in. I'm trying to remember when he got it. He got it in December.
That's fast.
He got it in December of 2020, and he passed away in July of 2021. So he just had it for 4. But he kind of went downhill very fast. Now, when you're talking about muscle, that attacks every single muscle in your body.
Yeah, Graves' disease is an autoimmune process. That's not something I treat, not my area of expertise.
No.
Yeah.
So your area of expertise is?
So the reason I'm here today is to talk about amputation care, particularly below the knee, above the knee levels of amputation. Not a happy topic, but
no.
We've got some very interesting new technology available for people.
And do you have to make the decision of amputating a leg sometimes if you see something happens or whatever? You personally have to make that decision to amputate someone's leg?
Unfortunately, 2 or 3 times a week, yes.
2 or 3 times a week? Oh my goodness, that must be, I mean, you must look at these people and...
Well, that's what led me to try to improve the life of the amputee, try to change things for their better.
So what have you done? Well, if that's what you're here for, to change?
Traditionally, the way we give an amputee a prosthesis, it's called a suction socket. It's a sleeve that they roll over the residual limb, and they clip that into a fiberglass shell, and that's hooked to the prosthesis. There's a lot of friction, it's hot, it's uncomfortable, particularly in this climate. And so about 80% of them can only wear it 2 or 3 hours at a time.
Why does it get hot or uncomfortable?
It's just uncomfortable.
Is that because it's pressing against the bone or what?
The skin.
The skin, the bone.
It's a very inefficient way to do energy transfer to walk. For an above-the-knee amputee to walk through a grocery store would be like you going out and running a 5K. In energy consumption, it's just very inefficient.
It's very inefficient. Yeah. So when they first get this and they first wear it, it's wearing it.
Correct.
They have to get used to it, so maybe they can't wear it all the time.
There's a training phase of several months, but...
Several months?
Oh, it's not something that happens quickly, but take the above-the-knee level, if they can wear it for 4 to 6 hours at a time, that's a long time.
Really?
Yeah, most of the day they're not inside their prosthesis just because it's so uncomfortable.
What about if they're just wearing it and they've got to where they want to get and they've walked to where they need to be, now they're going to sit for a couple of hours? Is that takes the pressure off it? No?
That's also very uncomfortable for the amputee. Prolonged sitting is not a pleasant experience. To ride an airplane is difficult for an amputee to do.
So would it be better if could they take it off when they're in the airplane?
They refer to it as uncoupling, and they frequently just remove the limb, and that's disconcerting to the people around them. But that's what they have to do.
But if they're uncomfortable and they're just going to be sitting there for 3 or 4 hours or whatever the case be on a plane, they can do that. But then the person next to them has to
has to endure it. Yes.
And how does that all work? I mean, how does that? They number one, the tragedy of losing your leg. Would that be arm as well, or anything like that?
We do have options for upper extremities, but we can usually do salvage on upper extremities. We can usually save the hand.
You could have just saved a hand.
Yeah, we try really hard to save hands because it's how we interact with the world.
Yeah, that's how. We talk with our hands all the time, but then we also need to walk. Walking isn't.
It's very critical. Yes.
So this is a tough question. So obviously you have a lot of people that have been in different wars and things.
My
vets.
original background was military.
Yep.
I was an Army surgeon for many years. Currently, we have about 8,300 battle-related amputees, and at least half of them can't wear a suction socket because of the discomfort, because of the scar tissue, because of the pain with wearing it.
So what are you doing to make this more comfortable? Because obviously this is where you're at. You've been probably at this for years to make people feel comfortable actually walking with an artificial limb.
So about 8 years ago, we took on a project with several of my peers and a manufacturer out of Australia, Signature Orthopedics. They're in Sydney, and some creative engineers. And we came up with a stem that you insert inside of the bone of the residual limb, let that rest for 3 months, and you come back at the second stage and you couple that through the skin through an opening, and you put a metal post out that you can now attach the prosthesis to. So there's no more need for a suction socket. So it's called Osseointegration, and it's a transcutaneous system of coupling to an external prosthesis, and there are many advantages.
It's a metal thing that's coming out of your leg.
Yes.
So therefore, it's attached to inside of your leg.
It is
part of it.
The stem grows into the bone. Hence the term osseointegrated.
Osseointegrated. Oh my goodness. And so therefore, you can take your limb off on and off anytime you want. And this. And how long can they walk with this?
So we've done 24 at the above the knee level. We've done 3 at below the knee level. Most of them are wearing them for more than 16 hours a day.
Isn't that amazing?
I have a few who wear them to bed. Yes.
Well, why would they? They just feel more comfortable. They feel whole.
Well, I'm told that if you get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom and forget to couple, you won't forget again. Yeah, you'll fall.
Well, that's what you fall. Yeah, you fall out on your nose because if you're not used to whatever it is you're trying to get used to. So, do you advise that?
I let them decide what they're going to do with it.
What they want to do and how they want to.
Yeah, it's very much theirs.
Now, how long does that take? The whole process of putting this into your above the knee or below the knee, and putting the stem on there, which is kind of, I guess you put it and click it, right?
We have a quick coupling external device.
Okay.
It's a lot like your seatbelt on your car.
Yeah.
And it's got a latch and a click. Yeah. And it's pretty robust. You know, it does need to be replaced every couple of years. But, you know, you buy a new car every 2 or 3 years.
Same thing. Well, you get used to what you have to do.
Right.
You know, you get used to it. So between that and then you have to obviously measure the leg you want. And, you know, you've got to have everything pretty perfect because you really don't want them to limp. You want them to walk as normal as possible, right? That's your goal.
So some of the things that we've found that are happening with these people is that a normal amputee with a suction socket, when they're walking, they can't feel the device touch the floor, so they have to impact with the floor and feel the shock wave come through their body.
And then they kind of limp.
It's a pronounced limp.
Yeah.
If they have the osseointegrated stem in, they can tell you the texture of the floor. They can feel the contact through the bone. And so
it's a built-in computer.
The term has been coined.
This is amazing.
Osseoperception. And you know, there's some tasks that a regular amputee can't do.
Yeah.
Walk backwards uphill, walk backwards upstairs.
I can barely walk uphill, never mind backwards. So good luck.
The OI patient can do those tasks without any difficulty.
What is the OI? What is that?
Osseointegrated.
Osseointegrated. I just want to make sure everybody knows what you're talking about out there, because they don't know all these abbreviations and everything else. So how many of these how long does that take to do one person?
So from start to finish, it's about 9 months from when the initial consultation till they're ready to be coupled and trained with the prosthesis and trained with the physical therapist.
So they're also trained.
Oh,
now,
yes.
Not everybody. You live in Las Vegas, right?
I do.
So you actually take care of Las Vegas then.
I get patients from all over the world now.
You get patients from, I'm sure you would, because of what you are doing. You've got so much knowledge about this, and obviously this took you some time to actually understand what you were doing and something you wanted to do. You wanted to help whomever.
Yes, we designed a protocol and we refined it. It's been an ongoing research project. And we're in the final phase where we're no longer limited to the number of patients we can do. As long as we find people who are qualified, we can.
So how do they have to be qualified? What are the qualifications?
So this is designed for somebody who's had an amputation due to trauma and injury, somebody who's had an amputation due to cancer, or somebody that has been born with a congenital malformation. The limb wasn't formed correctly. Yep.
Well, that's amazing. If your limb isn't performed correctly, you have an amputee, you have it amputated, and then you can have an artificial limb made for you.
Yes.
Now, basically, we're coming down to the nitty-gritty of what does this cost, and do the medical health departments out there, how do they help?
So the cost is variable.
Yeah.
I have negotiated with many of the commercial insurance providers, and they have agreed to cover it for their beneficiaries. The lady I finished this morning, she has...
Wait a second, you finished some of this morning? Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness, congratulations.
I have 2 next week. Yeah.
I think we started out as how many do you do a week, and you said 3 or 4 or something.
Yes. Well, we're ramping up right now because we're in the final phase before we get to a commercially available device. It's still considered a research implement.
You're still researching, but don't you have to kind of research on somebody? You know, your patients, you obviously are researching as well with.
They usually find me. Social media has been a great mechanism for exposure. Situations like this.
Yes, hopefully we get this really out there, because this is something. This to me is absolutely amazing. I mean, I do entertainment people, I do writers, painters, everybody. But this to me is something that we really are helping somebody else get over the agony. I mean, it's bad enough losing a limb, never mind, not being able to walk. But, so how can anybody get hold of you?
So I'm pretty easy to find. I'm a partner in Nevada Orthopedic and Spine Center. If you just put my name in a Google search, I come up pretty quickly.
Say your name again.
Ronald Hillock, Hillock, MD, Nevada Orthopedic and Spine Center, Las Vegas, Nevada. And I'll do video consults, I'll do telephone consults. I have patients mail me x-rays all the time to take a look. We can usually set it up so that the day you show up, we do the pre-op, we do the surgery the next day, you go home. 3 months later, you come back and we do the second stage.
So how many stages are there? Just 2?
2 stages.
There's only 2 stages.
Yes.
So when these people come in, they're pretty upset and pretty drawn out. And when we get this together, which is after a couple of months, what's the difference, you see?
It's an amazing transformation. They've gone from basically being wheelchair dependent, socially isolated, to getting their life back.
I've gotten that. I'm being a regular person out there.
I have had many of them return to their prior occupations, whereas they could not work before. Now they're fully employable.
So how do you feel? I mean,
It's good.
I can see your face is like it lightens up. It's like you're so excited because you're really giving a life back to somebody.
Giving the lifestyle back, yes.
You're giving their lifestyle back to them
Yes.
that they lost, that they thought they would never have again. And you're giving it back to them. I think I asked you cost again, but we got the cost out. Mostly insurance people will pay for it.
So there are some overseas centers that are doing this for about $125,000 to $200,000 and you have to live over there for 6 months.
Yes.
I don't think I've had anybody come out of pocket for more than $12,000 so far. And the insurance companies usually cover the majority of it.
And then, which is nice to know. So if you have this I don't want to call it a problem. It's just a happening. It's something that happened in your life that the Dr. Ron, I'm going to call him, Dr. Ron wants to help and cure for you because you're just giving them back a life again. So I think 12,000 and I think 120,000 or what it comes, 140, I'm sure it varies all the time, is nothing really, but I think it's wonderful that the health insurance people do cover this. A lot of it.
It takes some negotiating. I usually have to talk to the medical directors, and you get the patients sold. And I had a medical director the other day. I literally just sent a video of one of my patients before and after. I said, I think this speaks more than I can tell you.
Yeah.
And he sent me back an authorization letter 2 hours later.
Wow. Because you have it actually visualized. They can visually see what you actually do.
Yes.
And how long does the first appointment take?
Well, it's usually over the phone or a video call.
And then they come into your office or come into the hospital?
They
Oh,
to my office. They send in their X-rays ahead of time. We take a look. We do another call, and if they find it acceptable and they want to proceed, then we get more serious about ordering CT scans and pre-op clearances and
it's a lot more to it
all
than
the
we
planning.
think.
Yeah, there's a lot of planning that
I was
goes
going
into
to say, this is not just you come in, they build it, and then you leave. And I know there's a lot attached to that. So it's a working process.
Each implant is custom for that patient. It's made for that bone, for that
Each
patient.
person is different anyway, so that's what it all is. And
Yes.
everything.
It's not an off-the-shelf device. You can't go to a store and buy it. Each one is made custom for the patient.
Now, one more thing. Children. Obviously, children. You do some of these children, sometimes they're born with a leg or something that's not quite right, or they lose a leg or they lose whatever. How? Because they're growing. So every year you have to maybe change it.
So we don't do this surgery for anybody who is still growing.
Okay.
They have to be skeletally mature. And so the line we draw in the U.S. because of legality of consent is 18. Many men are still growing until 23 years.
Yeah.
Many women are finished growing at 12 or 14 years.
We're just faster growers, that's all.
Yeah. Well, you're more mature.
We're mature.
Yeah.
I like to hear that, especially coming from a doctor. I was mature at 12, 13 years old. Cool.
Well, physically mature.
Oh, okay, got it. So again, you do you go into a hospital for this, or do you? Because you said they send in photographs, and then you have to have a procedure. Where's that all done?
So far we've done these in a regular hospital in an operating room. Moving forward, we're hoping to do this in an outpatient surgery center setting. And the main motivator there is access and reduce cost to make it more available to more people.
Yeah, because you're not sick. There's nothing mentally wrong with you at all, except that you just want this process done. That's absolutely amazing.
Well, we've got some big breakthroughs in pain control and things that we can do with infusion catheters and drugs that we can use that were not previously available. So in the near future, we will be doing this as an outpatient.
So the process is getting better and better and better. And you're inventing. The
first 2 or 3 patients were very patient. Yeah.
Now you keep saying we, so I want to know who the other person is, because we is more than one person.
Oh, right. Well, I mean, it's the engineers, it's the manufacturers, it's the physical therapists, it's the anesthesiologist.
You are the original doctor they all come to.
For this device.
For this device, and for what you want done, and for an amputee that would like to be whole again, you're the man.
We have 5 other centers that will be opening up around the U.S. within the next year. We've been training. I was on a conference call with Lyon, France this morning. They were watching the surgery. They're going to be doing the surgery soon. We've been talking to a center in the UK. We've been
so you actually train doctors to do what you do?
Yes.
Because of the procedure, the way they do it is totally different to kind of how it was done before.
It's not a standard surgery yet, but we're hoping to create a whole training video series and make it normal, regular care.
So it'll be regular care, and it's for anybody.
If you meet the inclusion criteria for an amputation due to trauma, cancer, congenital malformation, yes, you would qualify.
Absolutely wonderful. So just give your information out again where they can find you.
Sure. My name is Ronald Hillock, Hillock, MD. I'm an orthopedic surgeon. My group is Nevada Orthopedic and Spine Center in Las Vegas. If you put that in a Google search, I'm pretty sure it'll pop up number 1 or 2. We have multiple ways to contact if you want to email, if you want to set up a video conference, telehealth. If you want to have a phone call conference, we can do it that way. Whatever is convenient for you, we'll make it happen.
He makes everything happen, so we don't have to worry about that one. I think you're absolutely amazing. Thank you, Dr. Ron. I'm calling him Dr. Ron. I just love what he does. And this is truly helping other people and for them to have a normal life that they haven't had probably for some time. You know, the wheelchairs and then, getting in and out and, you know, going wherever you want to go, but now they can go wherever they want to go. Absolutely amazing. Don't forget to go to YouTube and to become a member and to subscribe and to do all the above. And don't forget social media shows, my producer, and we'll be right back with our next guest. Take care. Thank you.